Hey guys, Dr. Ben here at 8 Well Centers. Let's get into leaky gut. So many of you guys heard this term, have thought, do I have leaky gut? Why does it sound like such a weird term? Is it really even a real thing? Well, let's get into it today. What is leaky gut? What is causing it? What are the problems? What are the symptoms that you're experiencing because you do have leaky gut? And then how you can start this healing process. So welcome everybody. Love having you on. Click down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see you. Give you a shout out all over the country, all over the United States, as well as the rest of the world, anywhere and everywhere. Let me know where you're watching from. And then also let me know if you have dealt with leaky gut, if you've worked on it, if you think you have it, if you think you might have fixed it. Let me know what you did. So let's get into it. Leaky gut. Leaky gut is a kind of weird term. It's like, is stuff just like oozing in and out? Is it leaking? Is it like open sores? What is actually going on with leaky gut, and what are some of the symptoms? Heather, glad to see the lights back up again. Miss seeing these. Yes, Heather, good to see you, and welcome. So here's the deal. Leaky gut is a term that is described in all the medical research, in the medical literature. If you go into PubMed and look for intestinal permeability, if you look for leaky gut, if you look for malabsorption, things like that, you will find lots and lots of research. So basically, what the gut lining is a barrier system. So from the time food goes into your mouth all the way down through the esophagus, into the stomach, into the small intestine, large intestine, and then out, that is a barrier. It's not just a tube to absorb things in. It is, hey Virginia, good to see you. It is a barrier system, just like your skin is a barrier. So think about this. If you've got open sores and somebody's got these open raw sores and you can see open blood, etc., it's oozing, things like that, and then you stick that arm into something that you don't want getting into the bloodstream, it is going to be very, very easy to get into there. You're not going to want to do that. But that same thing can happen in our digestive tract. So especially in the small intestine. So small intestine is going to be where we're absorbing. This is the long part of the digestive tract, almost 20 feet long, and it's narrower. The large intestine is bigger, the small intestine is smaller in diameter, but a lot longer. So that small intestine has all these finger-like projections, villi and microvilli, that increase the surface area. If you spread out the entire digestive tract, you would cover almost a tennis court. That is how much surface area we have in our digestive tract. So it's really, we can tell it's really important that we need to be able to absorb and see all that. So again, welcome everybody. We're talking about the intestinal lining, leaky gut, symptoms of it, and then what you can do about that. So when we're thinking about symptoms or problems with leaky gut, here's the deal. If you have an autoimmune condition, you've got leaky gut. Somebody asked a while ago, does everybody have leaky gut? And I go, well, no, not everybody has leaky gut. And I thought about it, I said, everybody with autoimmune pretty much has leaky gut. 99.9% of the people. If you have an autoimmune condition, you have leaky gut. If you are dealing with any type of major skin inflammatory issue, you are dealing with leaky gut. So psoriasis, eczema, acne, any of these things, you need to look to that gut to start working on there. Some people will have intestinal symptoms, so they'll have digestion symptoms, things like that. Other people, not really. They won't have that much in the way of symptoms, and it will be more of the outward signs and symptoms. If you have a gluten intolerance, if you have celiac disease, there is a 99% chance that you have leaky gut going on. So all of these different things are going to point towards you have this intestinal permeability. So if you're really sensitive to foods, if you react to a lot of things, these are all going to be good indicators that you have leaky gut. Okay, so then if you have leaky gut, then what do we do about leaky gut? Well, that's where you get down to, okay, you've got to take a step back and think about what's really happening. For some people, this is really interesting. Think about this. If you are dealing with leaky gut, there are things that can contribute to that. And it can be pathogens like bad bacteria, yeast, things like that. It can be food allergies can do that. It can be inflammatory processes in the body. But one of the interesting ones in the research, anytime they want to stimulate leaky gut and then do some research on it, they have people do intense extreme exercise. So I can only imagine that all these college kids that they're giving them $100 or whatever and put them on the treadmill until they throw up. But then we know that that actually opens up that gut lining, and I assume it's because the body's like, holy cow, I need as much as feasibly possible. And so here's the deal: is that if you are exercising, especially if you're doing like a spin class, going for ultra runs, doing CrossFit, anything like that, you need to be working on your gut lining because that just opens it up anyways. And so anybody that's doing that, I always encourage them to take at least 5,000, if not 10,000 milligrams of glutamine a day on those days that you do your intense exercise. So if you're doing, this boxing class for 45 minutes and you're like, holy cow, I just, got run over by a train, that is a very good indication that you just stressed out your gut lining. So for a lot of people that are doing it, exercise, they have those. If you are eating foods, gluten, corn, soy, dairy, anything that you have an allergy or sensitivity to, you need to be changing what you're doing. Get rid of those foods, but also you need to be working on that healing process because you're continuing to irritate. If you're under chronic stress, that elevated cortisol is going to not allow that gut lining to repair, and it's going to cause it to have this damaged lining in there as well. So if you're under chronic stress, you are going to be dealing with this as well. So here we go. Let's get into how we go about healing the intestinal lining, healing up that leaky gut. And these are steps that you can start taking right now. One of the first ones is to replace certain things. So a lot of people, if you're aging, or if you're under stress, then you are going to not be producing enough stomach acid. And so if you're not producing enough stomach acid, the food's going to sit there too long. It's not going to break down as well. By the time it gets to the small intestine, it's not going to be absorbing like it needs to. So with that stomach, you need to take some type of betaine hydrochloride. The way that you take this is that you start with 1 per meal, you go to 2 per meal, 3 per meal, 4 per meal, and work your way up until you feel a burning sensation right through here. And then at that point, you go back down. So if that's at 4, then you start taking 3 per meal until you feel like you're digesting better, and then you go down to 2, etc. The other thing that you need to look at, especially if you've had your gallbladder taken out, give me a thumbs up if any of you guys have had your gallbladder taken out. If you've had your gallbladder taken out, you need to be taking bile salts. Bile salts are going to be basically what the gallbladder was supposed to be holding and then secreting every time you eat a fatty meal. So if you eat a fatty meal, you need to be taking bile salts if you don't have a gallbladder or if your gallbladder is really sluggish. And then number 3 on the replacing is the enzymes. So if food is just kind of sitting there, if you don't feel like you're breaking it down, if you're seeing undigested food in the bowel movement, then you need to be taking some digestive enzymes. That can be bromelain, pancreatic enzymes, lipase, all types of different types of enzymes are going to be helpful for that breaking down. So number 1, replacing all of those digestive aids all the way down, whatever you need. Number 2 is going to be remove. So remove any potential food allergens. So when we're going through the healing process here, we've got gluten, corn, soy, dairy, all these different potential food allergens. We're going to remove those, take those out, and get the inflammation down. The other thing you need to remove is the bad stuff. So bad bacteria, yeast, pathogens, anything like that. And so that's going to look at Hey, Vanda, good to see you. So that's going to look like, let's take some oil of oregano. Brittany, you want to put a link down below for that, for my favorite time-released oregano, and that's going to be great. So it would be a time-released oregano, get it down into that digestive tract, kill off bad stuff, kill off yeast is one of the biggest things that we see in that digestive tract. It's going to cause us to have sugar cravings, carb cravings, things like that. And then we get into the bad bacteria that can be H. pylori. H. pylori is what causes ulcers, and it's the bacteria that they find in that little hole in the stomach lining there, that irritated lining, and they find this H. pylori. And so the thing with H. pylori is that you get 80% of H. pylori is actually in the small intestine, and you don't have any symptoms there. So you can't feel, there's no pain receptors. In the stomach, you can feel that pain, but in the small intestine, you can't. So 80% of H. pylori is actually in the small intestine, and that's going to be leading to that irritated gut lining there. So what does that look like? Well, we need to kill off that H. pylori and then start that healing. So there's specific nutrients that you can take for H. pylori. There's specific nutrients you can take for SIBO, for bacterial overgrowth coming from the large intestine into the small intestine. All these different things, you've got to kill off that bad stuff. And then you come in with the reinoculation. This is the 4 R's we're talking about. To reinoculate is to bring in the good bacteria. I never start just by giving somebody good bacteria. What happens is that the good bacteria is here, bad bacteria is here. Just taking some good stuff does not change it. We've got to kill off the bad stuff, bring in the good stuff. Kill off the bad stuff, bring in the good stuff, and do that over and times through. We might even have to do that twice as we go through this process. So we're going to kill off, bring in the good stuff, kill off even with a different thing, and then bring in some other types of probiotics. So here's the deal with probiotics. It's very important to have a good variety. You want to have a variety of probiotics and be able to go through and be able to get different strains going into different parts of that digestive tract. And then number 4 on the 4 R's is to repair. Write this stuff down. Glutamine is crucial. Glutamine is going to be one of the best things you can do. Zinc carnosine is also really good. Aloe vera juice. You've got marshmallow root. All these different nutrients are going to be really good. So you're going to take out all those inflammatory foods, go on basically an AIP type diet, autoimmune paleo diet, and use all these good nutrients to start building it back up. And you will start seeing miracles. We see people's inflammation go down. We see their joint pain get better, their skin issues get better. All of these different things start changing very, very quickly. So let me know if you guys have any questions at all with this. Put them down below. Even if you're watching a replay of this, we will reach out and we will let you guys know any answers there. And if you need support, if you're not getting the solutions that you want for your gut, for your autoimmune, any of those things, and you need that next step beyond just these videos, click that link down below, schedule that discovery call, and I would love to walk you through what it truly looks like to get your life back. So love having you guys on. If you've got any questions, any concerns, anything at all, send us that message down below. And remember, every Thursday at 8:30 Mountain Standard Time, we have a live Q&A. So jump on there and we'll be answering any questions in depth, as much information as you guys need. So make it a great day. Stay strong out there, guys.